TheseHorns.com Pro Tools Line and 10 free class tutorials, beginning, intermediate, and advanced mastering.
Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Whitney Russell with TheseHorns.com. This video is going to go over mastering, just for beginners. So you really can't learn how to master for beginners. I'm just going to show you some tricks, but you need to go to my intermediate and advanced tutorials, really know how to master, because that takes skills. But for right now, let's start off with, I have a track here, and this is from my template. You definitely want to look at, put your tracks in order and how to create your own template, so it makes mastering a lot easier. So what I do is basically I start off mastering. Anytime you make a song, you want to make a song kind of like building a house. You have your foundation, and then you have all your materials, your sounds, all your chords, all your vocals, all that's part of the house. So now it's time for you to master. It's time to build the house. Okay, so you always start off with your rhythm, because that's the foundation. If your rhythm is not good, I don't care how good all the other stuff sounds. Your rhythm's not sounding straight. It's not on the solid ground. Everything else is not going to sound good. So this is how you're going to master. So you're going to start off with your drums, your bass, and your guitar. So the main thing about mastering is you want to make sure that you keep your lows, anything that has to do with low frequency, make sure that is separate. Keep that away and make sure it's very defined that that's your lows. Make sure your mids are your mids, and make sure your highs are your highs. So if I'm dealing with a drum, even if I'm dealing with a drum beat, if I'm dealing with a bass drum, that's strictly going to be lows. So I don't want to have the the bass drum sound like it's got highs in it. So how I do that is go to an EQ. Most things you do, you want an EQ. So I have this patch right here up, and it's in the drum room. It says clean up your lows. That's one I like to use because it cleans up your lows. What it says. Try that. Okay, and what you're going to do is just go through all of these sounds. All these EQs, just go through them when you're trying to master one track. And you want to master one track at a time. Then you want to master all of your rhythm tracks. So I have my rhythm right here, then I got all my chords. So at first I'm going to get all my rhythm, go one at a time. Might put an EQ, you might want to put a compressor. Don't compress it too much. This is your compressor. It's a compressor and limiter. Once again, you just go through all of these different sounds. That's one lovely thing about Pro Tools is they do it all for you. See how all those knobs change? So all you have to do is listen and find one that you like. But make sure not to compress it too much, because you're going to compress at the end also. Okay, and that's all you have to pretty much in the beginning is worry about is your EQ and your compression, and then a little reverb and delay. So you have your drums, your bass guitar. Now your piano is the chords is generally going to deal with mids and highs. Your piano is really not going to have that many lows, because that's designed for your bass drum and your bass. But you might want to put just a little bit of lows in your piano, but not that much. Alright, and then your vocals, you don't have too many lows in your vocals unless you have a low singer singing bass. But generally, if it's a soprano singer, alto singer, there's not that many lows in it. You want to keep that in the mid and high frequency. So that's basically when it comes down to mastering. You want to master one track at a time. Get this one track sounding good. That sounds good. All right. Then we get this track sounding good. Play both of those together. That sounds good. And you move on, and you get your rhythm sounding good. Then you might change your volumes, change your pans. It's all about how you like. There's not really a wrong way. Then you want to do the same thing when you go with your chords. Then I have my vocals, your horns, whatever your tracks are. You want to go one at a time and then group them all and listen to them as a group. Then I will listen to my drums and my chords together. Then you might say, okay, this is too loud. This is too soft. This needs a little more reverb. This is too high or too low or too mid. I don't hear this enough. But I might want to pan this way. That's all you're going to do when you're beginning dealing with mastering. Then you deal with your vocals. Same thing. You put it all together. And then at the end, your master fader. That's why you got to have a master fader. You're going to add EQ and a compressor and maybe an expander to make it a little louder. So at the end, your master track, I don't have one right here, but I generally would. I cut it short because I have about 40 tracks on my template I'm working on. But on your master, you know, that is your master. That's where you're going to put your EQs. You're going to put your compressor and compress everything and make everything sound pretty much like a CD. That's what a compressor does. It makes it sound like a CD. That's the easiest way I can explain it. And then when you're dealing with being a beginner, that's the only thing that you have to worry about when it's time for you to master your track until you get a lot better dealing with my intermediate and advanced tutorials. But it'll sound good. Just work with it and just keep working with it. Now, it takes some time, but just keep working with it and you'll get a track that you like.
If you have any questions or if you want to view my other tutorials, beginning, intermediate, or advanced, please go to dshorns.com. If you need a horn section on your track, horn solos, piano chords, piano solos, or help mastering your track, contact me at facebook.com/ds.horns or at dshorns@yahoo.com. And please make sure to send me a friend request on Facebook for Pro Tools updates and free plugins.